Hi there, it's Jennifer McGuire, and I'm finally getting around to doing a video on how to create your own buttons or plastic flowers or anything, and how to do so by creating your own molds. So these cabochons, or these little resin flowers, are very popular right now. So that's what I'm going to focus on creating in this video. So you can either buy molds like on Etsy, or you can make your own. I'm going to show you how to make your own. I'll link to some already made. But I use this mold and pour. It's from Ranger, and it's a really easy product to use. So this product comes with these two little jars. There's a purple and a white. It's almost like a really soft clay inside of these. And what you need to do is mix equal parts of each of these. And really, a little goes a long way. So I would recommend starting with less and then kind of working up if you think you need a little bit more. But you take two globs and get them as close in size to each other as you can. Now this, you have a little bit of a time to work with this, but it actually forms a mold pretty quickly. So once you get it going, you just want to hurry up and turn it into a mold. So I've just mixed it all together by kind of rolling it together. And now I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a mold. I just roll it into a ball and I kind of flatten it a little bit, and then I take whatever piece I want and press it into the mold. Now I'm not taking a whole lot of care to do this because, quite frankly, if I'm going to be making my own embellishments, I want to do it pretty quickly. So I'm just going to press this in here, and actually I'm not pushing it in all the way because this way I can make resin flowers that are thinner than the ones that you buy at the store. So you can see it's sticking out the top, so that when I create my own flowers in this mold, they'll be thinner and they won't be too bulky for scrapbook pages. So if you wait a little bit of time, I usually wait like an hour, but you don't have to wait that long. And sometimes if you press something hard on top, you can kind of flatten it out. But I usually wait about an hour for this mold to form, and you'll know when it's done because when you press your thumbnail in the bottom, it won't leave an indentation. And then these molds you can actually put in the oven up to, I think it's like 450 degrees, so that you can cook clay in it if you'd like. So anyways, once you're done, you can just pop out your flower and you have a mold. Very easy to do, and it's kind of flexible, which makes it easy to pop out the pieces when you're done. Now, ice resin is what I like to use to make my plastic flowers. This is a really great product. I'm just going to give you kind of the gist of it, but it comes with a part A and a part B, and you have to make sure you use equal amounts of both. It actually has a little nozzle that you can put on the bottle, but I'm kind of lazy, so I don't put it on. I just pour it right out. Probably be easier with that nozzle. But I pour equal amounts in each of the cups. You can't really tell because I'm filming from above, but there are equal parts in this. There's lines on the side. You can also draw your own line if you'd like. And I kind of let that sit just for a few minutes. You have a long time to work with this. So I just let it sit a little bit to get rid of the bubbles, and then I start mixing it. So it comes with these little popsicle sticks. Make sure you get it all in there, and then you want to mix it really good until you don't see any of the striations in it, so it's nice and clear. So you want to keep mixing and mixing until it's done, and you'll see there's lots of bubbles in there, but I'll show you how to get rid of those in a minute. Then you can add any kind of reinkers, and I know some paints would work too, but I'm adding a few drops of the Frost White Color Box Pigment ink. I'm kind of running out here. I'm just putting a few drops in to kind of give it more of a white look, of course. And a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a whole lot. So I'm going to mix that in real good. And then I want to make this to be like a dark pink. So I'm going to use my Distress ink reinkers. I love Distress ink reinkers because there's a lot you can do with them besides reink your pads. And this is one. You can just put a few drops right into your ice resin and mix it up really good. So after mixing this for quite a while, I'm going to leave it to set for like 5 minutes, and that helps some of those air bubbles to come out. In fact, if you put it under a warm light, the air bubbles will come out even more. So now I have this ready. I'm not usually that patient to wait for the bubbles to come out, so I'll just kind of tap it and it gets some of the bubbles out. They don't seem to bother me a whole lot. So now I'm just going to pour some into the mold. It's better to do it kind of slowly, unlike I did there. And then you'll see as it sits there, if you kind of tap it a little bit, the bubbles will start coming to the surface and they'll start going away. But again, I don't really have many problems with bubbles because I'm using color and I let it sit for a long time. It's such a small thing. So the bubbles really don't bother me. So you can just tap them out, or you can put them under something a little warm to get them to come out. So now I've let these dry overnight. You need to let these sit for quite a while. And you'll see all these different flowers that I've gotten. I use the same mixture for all of these. And again, since I didn't push my original flowers in all the way when I created the molds, they're a lot flatter than the ones that you can buy, and you can trim off any extra that might be sticking off the sides with your Tim Holtz scissors. So you can see these great products. If you want these to be super shiny, you can cover them with glossy accents. Now you could also create these with clay. I have a hard time working with clay. For some reason, clay and I don't get along really well, but it does work with these molds just the same. You can roll up your clay, push it into your molds, and just stick the whole mold and the clay in your little oven to bake it or set it, according to the package. These molds will withhold it. Or you can be impatient like I am and take them out of the molds before they're actually cooked. So what I'm going to do here is, because these molds are flexible, you can actually pop it out without hurting your clay flour before it's set. So now I have this rose, and you can see there's a lot of trim around the edge because, again, when I put the flour in the mold, I didn't push it in all the way. So I'm just using a craft knife to kind of cut away some of the extra clay around the edges. And then what I can do is stick this into the oven as is. So I can kind of change it up a little bit before putting it in the oven. Also, I like to take a little piece of green clay and add a leaf to the back of it. Here's another fun thing you can do with the clay. If you have Perfect Pearl pigment powder, you can just dash a little bit on it and then kind of brush off the extra, and you can get like a pearlescent flower. Now, I made a huge mess here. You can do this with a lot less pigment powder and not create such a big mess, but I was experimenting here, so I have quite a big mess. So here are some of the clay flowers I did. You can see some leaves I added to the back of the resin flowers before I baked them, and then the pigment powder that I added to the others. And you can also put glossy accents on these to make them shiny if you want. So you can easily make your own molds, and see how flat I've made this flower. Very different than the one I bought from the store, which is the one on the right there, which is nice for card makers and scrapbookers. So you can create your own flowers with these molds using ultra thick embossing enamel also. I know there's a lot of products in the bead and jewelry making world. I'm not familiar with many of them, but this is just kind of a simple and quick way that you can create your own. I like the fact that you can add some Perfect Pearl to these too to give them a little bit of shine. So I hope this video inspires you to try out some molds of your own. If you have any questions, please visit my blog.